Well, welcome once again, folks, to one more DojoLIVE interview, connecting experts like you. And today, this is Carlos Ponce, your host, and I'm broadcasting live from our beautifully redecorated Mexico City offices. And of course, as ever, I'm really happy to have Tulio Siragusa, my fellow teammate near Softian, as co-host, way over there in LA. How you doing, Tulio? Pleasure to have you here, as ever.
I'm great. Good to be back. I'm actually I'm in Playa Vista in Silicon Beach, the heart of Silicon Beach today.
Oh, cool, cool. I envy you for that. It's cool.
Great. Good to be back. I'm actually I'm in Playa Vista in Silicon Beach, the heart of Silicon Beach today.
Perfect, awesome. Maybe I'll meet you over there sometime. And last but not least, of course, I gotta do the right intro to our guest today. Our guest today is Mr. Brandon Ford. He is the founder and CEO of Triphero. Triphero is a company that helps people's stuff get where they want to go, when they want to go, right? So it's a pleasure to have you here, Brandon. And we really thank you for having agreed to spend the next half hour with us talking about the importance of validating your product before building it. Welcome to today's show, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you having me. And I'm in beautiful Vail, Colorado. You can see behind me. Starting to be fall here. So gorgeous as ever.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that. We got similar views over here in Mexico City and the mountain ranges that we have. It's also chilly and there's a lot of pines and mountains and snow as well, fortunately. So anyway, the thing is, again, I would like to start off, Brandon, by asking you just a couple of questions to begin with, and then we'll move on to today's chosen topic. So can you tell us a little bit, of course, us and our audience, can you tell us about you, about yourself, and then, of course, about Triphero and how it came about? And let's start with that. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, so I'm originally from back east in the East Coast, and I was an attorney and graduated law school in 2007, which horrible timing. If everybody had a job for about 9 months until the 2008 crash happened, and literally then there were in New York City there were no jobs for young attorneys at all. So I decided to move to Vail. I always had a passion for skiing in the mountains, and we're starting to get a little bit of drizzle, even though it's sunny above me, so it should pass over. But so I moved to the mountains in November of 2009. And then that was about the same time that the airline started really charging a lot more for baggage that used to be complimentary. So, you know, Vail is one of the world-class ski resorts. But I was seeing the people coming to Vail, you know, very well-to-do, high-end clientele, coming in, schlepping their gear, you know, seeing a family walking down the street with all this gear, literally dragging it, having a miserable time. So I was like, there's a real problem here. And then then the news, as the airlines kept on raising prices, it became, you know, everybody knows about it, how much it costs to take your bags on a plane. You know, you're paying more, but you don't get better service. And then it kind of hit me. I read an article in the New York Times called "Packing for Your Family Ski Trip," and it talked about how, you know, some people literally refuse to go away on certain vacations, like skiing, because of the hassle of traveling with your luggage and gear. And that's when I realized I had a real big problem in front of me and I needed to address it. So that's how we launched initially. And this kind of segues into my topic about learning from your customers. Initially, we thought we were just going to be shipping skis. And our third customer came up to me, "Brandon, can you also ship my luggage?" And I was like, whoa, it's a bigger problem than we even thought it. So people wanted to not only ship their ski gear, but also their luggage as well. And that's kind of how we were initially Ski Pods, and that's how we trained to rebrand it to Triphero. And, you know, it's that very first lesson from our customers. We've been learning more and more each year about the problems around travel logistics.
Okay, thank you so much, Brandon, for elaborating on yourself and also, of course, about Triphero. Okay, well, given that today we have just a tiny bit of a constraint time-wise, and so we might need to just cut the interview short just for about 5 minutes. So I'd like to make good use of our time. So Tudor, you want to go ahead and start with the questions right now while we pay close attention to what's going on Twitter?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually pretty excited to find out what this is about. I'm one of those consumers who loves to ski. I grew up in Switzerland, but it's a nightmare to schlep your stuff. So I end up not going. And what is it that you ended up? What's the product? What is it that you actually ended up creating that solves that problem?
So it's a door-to-door shipping solution. So we're exclusively partnered with FedEx. So on the city side, FedEx does the pickup, and then they deliver to us and to the hotel properties on the resort side. So it's basically you're able to travel hands-free for a price that's not very much more than it would cost you on the plane. And actually, with items like ski gear, it can save you money. Airlines like United and American charge up to $150 to $200 for oversized items, and mostly every pair of skis fits within those dimensions nowadays. So it might seem like a luxury product, but it's not really. And it can actually save money on transportation and the type of rental car you're able to rent, etc. And you can just get to the mountains with an Uber ski or a transportation partner, and you're here and you get to stay and you're not paying valet every day, and you get to just enjoy your time and travel hands free. And FedEx's rate of lost bags and delayed bags are quite significant, super low, less than 1%. So we've had over 5,000 plus shipments, and misplaced. There's only been a couple items lost and broken over all those shipments.
That's fantastic. So who are your customers? Are you going direct to consumer, or are you doing deals with hotels? Can you walk us through the market that you're looking to create?
So we do both. So we partner with hotels and resorts, etc., to make it easier for their customers to get to their place. One of the big attractions for them is we offer storage. So like if you're a repeat customer, you can just store your gear with us. You don't have to take it back to South Florida, for example, where you're never going to use your ski gear. So that's a big attraction to our partners, but also reaching people through social media, Google AdWords, all that kind of stuff, the traditional marketing channels as well.
Now, you also said something about other travel requirements. I have a family, and sometimes going on vacation, again, it's especially when you have little ones.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff to take with you. So walk us through that. Is that also a solution for baggage or boxes? It's not just limited to skis, I assume.
Yeah. So more and more people are shipping more and more stuff. Like we especially young families, we see a lot of people shipping, diapers and formula and all this heavy stuff that's really hard to travel with. And so we allow them to ship it to us, and then we distribute to them along with their luggage when they get there. So that's a big value add that we add, and our customers have something that we actually learned from our customers. Ask our customers would ship their luggage and ask us, can we also ship X, Y, and Z to you as well? And we're like, yes, it's great.
Well, it's funny. Depending where I go, I'll use Amazon Fresh and purchase things and have them delivered locally, but sometimes it's just not available. So is this something what's the value of this versus, let's say, using that kind of service? Is this complimentary? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's like an add-on. So most people, when you're traveling to a new location, you're not going to have a permanent address and things like that. So we take that necessity out and allow you to be able to ship the stuff. A lot more people are staying at home aways, Airbnbs, VRBOs, etc. That market is exploding, and those places don't have any receiving and at all. So you really can't ship anything there. So we fill in that gap.
That sounds amazing. So who could be good partners for you? It sounds like there will be a lot of companies that could benefit from this kind of solution. Walk us through.
So companies, anybody that offers travel to their customers, it provides that experience, because over the last 10 years, travel has been transformed by technology. Almost every area, it's easier to book your plane tickets. It's easier to pay. It's easy. Almost everything's easier. One thing that's not easier is traveling with your stuff. So that's where we kind of fit in. And, So whether it's an Airbnb as a partner, or whether it's hopefully eventually an airline, because what we're finding as we discover what airlines are doing with the baggage, the reason they charge so much is they don't want it. You know,
Right.
one of the biggest costs for creating airline infrastructure is the security apparatus around baggage. We're finding that out. It's literally up to 20 to 25% of the build of a new airport or of an upgrade of an airport. So we really see in 10 to 15 years a world without baggage claim, where you're going to travel and your stuff will arrive when you do, when you want it, where you want it.
I'd say that's a pretty bold disruption. I can see that, you know, plus you would solve the problem of logistics for most of these companies. Like you said, they don't probably want to be in the logistics business.
Yep.
So where are you now? Can you just give us an update as to where are you now in terms of your customer base and what are your plans for the next few years?
Yeah, so right now we started off in skiing, and that's where, you know, we're well-rounded in the ski business. You know, our team has over 40 years of experience in the ski industry. So we started there. Skiing, if we could solve skiing, then we're gonna be able to solve the other stuff, because there's just so much, as you know, Julio, like how difficult it can be. So we started off in skiing. So we're currently in Vail, Beaver Creek, Aspen, Telluride, Breckenridge, Keystone. This year we're expanding to Park City, Deer Valley, Squaw Valley, North Star, Heavenly, and Tahoe, and Jackson Hole, with, you know, international expansions coming in the next couple of years.
Okay, so you have, just so I can clarify, you have a platform that's basically your logistics platform, but then you're also providing a service. Are there companies that could benefit from just licensing the platform and doing the drop shipment, providing the service themselves? Is that part of the strategy?
Yeah, not necessarily. You know, it's one of those things. One of my favorite quotes is from Steve Jobs. Is like, you know, the focus. What does focus mean? Focus means saying no to the 1,000 good ideas and focusing on the 5 ones that are in your wheelhouse, basically. So there's tons of opportunity and stuff like that, and licensing, and we're creating digitizing, you know, the process and doing all kinds of stuff. But I think we want to stay focused on the traveler, on the leisure traveler for now, and make it easier for people to get to their vacations. That's a big enough market just in ski for us to be a very successful company. And then as we build that out, and we know we're doing a good job, you know, as our NPS scores stay at a certain level, that our partners are satisfied, et cetera, we might consider some things like that, but we don't want to get too distracted either. So it's a balance there always, Tulio, you know, as you know. So that's you got to say no to some of the good ideas like that. That's a great idea, but you got to focus, or else you're going to get scattered and not accomplish the real goal. So
right, absolutely. Which brings us to the topic you chose, which is about, you know, the importance of validation, right? So how do you go about your validation in terms of your product roadmap? What's working for you? Anything you'd like to share with other CEOs or co-founders or founders that you've discovered?
Yeah, I mean, and one of the biggest things, and I'm standing right outside of the place where I first started doing my own market research. So after I came up with this idea and saw the problem, I decided to get a job as a bell captain at the Lodge at Vail where I'm standing. And so I was talking to customers every single day that came in with their bags and stuff. So I learned that. So like, anyway, as a founder, especially, and this to me is the fun part, the most fun part, is getting down in a nitty gritty in front of your customer where they're experiencing the problem. So if you can be with the customer when they're experiencing a problem, can ask them questions about it, etc., that provides you with information that could never be provided by a study or a survey or anything like that. Just real visceral, emotional, like, reactions to carrying their bags and stuff. So like really understanding the deep need on the customer's end. And then as far as technology, you know, just be very careful, because I mean, technology and marketing, right? You can spend infinite amounts on it. So you want to make sure that you're mapping your customer's journey and seeing where those pain points are, and then applying technology to make sure they address that exact pain point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because, you know, like, there's been a big wave of smart luggage, and you might have heard of some companies, Blue Smart and Raiden, etc. A lot of these companies they're going out of business because they're providing a lot of, ancillary benefits. Like a lot of these new smart luggage, they have chargers so you can charge your cell phone in your luggage. But because of that, they can't go on a plane because of lithium-ion batteries. So like things like that, you have to be very careful that you're solving a core problem and not just problems on the side, so to speak.
Right.
It's another thing on focus. Just focus is hard for entrepreneurs. That you're creative, you always see these new ideas. You hear from smart people like yourself all these great ideas, but you gotta stay focused on your problem and on your technology, and make sure that technology fixes the problems that are the most acute to the customer.
That's an interesting observation. In 29 years, I've seen a lot of founders who are very good at building a company to a certain level, but there's only very few who can take it to the, Larry Ellison levels, right? Mostly because it's always chasing the shiny thing. So big focus on focus, pun intended. Appreciate that. Here at Nearsoft, we're pretty big on culture. We always love to learn about companies' culture. Tell us a little bit about the guiding principles of your business. What's working for you? What are the things that you look for when you bring on people on your team? A little bit about your culture. That'd be great.
Yeah. So we have our culture and values. For me personally, and all the founding team has this personal connection. For me, it's all about freedom. The world is more open as far as travel, et cetera, that's ever been, but it's hard sometimes with your stuff. More and more people are doing adventure type travel, skiing, hiking, biking, surfing, stuff like that, where activities, you're not going so much to Disneyland, to like, you're planning your own vacation, getting into nature, et cetera. So for our team, that's very important. We all lived in Vail, Colorado for a reason. It's one of the most beautiful mountains with activities galore. And so that's really deeply embedded in our culture, is the connection we have with our customers, because we experience this every day. So we love providing our customers that enhanced experience where it's kind of just easy, and they get to come to a place like this and experience it for, short period of time. So as much as we can maximize their time in destination, it's great. And then we're also blessed. I mean, we're going to be working at some of the best locations in the world, Switzerland someday soon. We're having talks with them. And, so being in these locations, it's very easy to create an exciting culture because of our surroundings and how people are so excited to be in the places we are. And making it easier for them to get there is kind of what we're all about.
Awesome. So you've been at this for how long again?
This is our third season, full season. We did pilot season. So technically, like 4 years of operations will be this year, and 3 like actual non-testing and launching.
Okay. So if you had to start again, what are some of the lessons you've learned in the past 4 years as an entrepreneur?
And that's one of the funnest things about being a founder, is like you learn every single day. But, something that I always struggled with, and I've had business ideas in the past, but I always wanted it to be perfect. I always wanted, everything to be exactly how I wanted, the whole vision accomplished. If you have any vision at all, you're probably not going to be able to accomplish it in one day or with one release of a product, etc. So don't be scared to get things out there, even if they're not perfect. Like, I have a rule for my team now, like we're all perfectionists. And I tell them, like, is it 80% done? And I'm like, 80% to B, you're putting it out. And that gives you an opportunity to learn from your customers. If I created so we have products developed around skiing, and it's called a ski pod. And if I had to make sure, like, initially I wanted that to be completed and done and everything before we even launched, that would have never worked. And, it would have deprived people of the service we're providing now. It's not the end solution. The vision is bigger, but we're chipping away at it daily. And just to remember that is very important, because you can't be a perfectionist and actually get stuff done.
Great words of wisdom.
Tulio, sorry to interrupt you, Tulio. But at Nearsoft, we also want to be perfect, as you probably know, right, Tulio? So today we have the new version of a chatbot, Tulio. Actually, I had the guys work on it.
It's been upgraded?
Yeah, it's been upgraded. So I think it's about time that we let the audience know, and of course, Brandon, our guest, know what our unhackable technology we have here at Nearsoft, and we have like this is the first world release for this unique chat box. Are you ready? Are you ready? You activated. You have the red button.
It still works with my button. Okay, cool.
It's your red button. It's your red button. So I'm ready.
I had coded the last one, Brandon, but they made a new one. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. All right, chatbot activated.
Guys, if you have any questions for Brandon, make sure that you send us your question right here on Twitter. And this is our fully brand new Twitter compatible integrated chatbot. So send us your questions here on Twitter for Brandon, like right now, and we'll read them back to Brandon here live, and he respond accordingly. With that being said, Tulio, you ready to deactivate it?
Yep. Okay, here we go. Boom.
Okay.
Nice.
There you go. Unhackable.
Launches.
Unhackable.
Right. I know we're a little pressed for time today, Brandon, but my question, we have a pretty tech savvy audience. Any specific choices in your stack that and why? Can you share what you use on the back end or your front end and why you made those choices?
Yeah, so we looked at kind of what other people were doing in our marketplace, and and a lot of the technologies built around kind of getting the best rates from the carriers. And that wasn't our core competency. So we decided to do some things where we have, an app with that basically like a chat bot where we can communicate with our customers, where the delivery is, et cetera, but without having to download an app. So, what we've studied a lot of the travel related apps, and a lot of people, they'll have them on their phone or on their device for just while they're traveling, then they delete them. So we wanted something that's a little bit more fluid, and so we partnered with a company called Bring out of Israel, and they helped us do that, which has been a great addition, and our customers love it. If you get a notification, before you leave New York coming to Vail that your stuff's here, it makes your whole trip a lot better. So we want to try to focus on customer communications, and we've got a lot of stuff in the works. And this is the thing, back to the overall topic of validating. Before we wanted to build anything too in depth, we wanted to really find out what the customer wanted. And that was the first thing they told us, is like, we don't want to have to download anything. If you can just give us a text message that our stuff's there and we have a link where you can track it, that's what they wanted. So we're building a lot of that stuff. And, basically, I think today, integrations, especially if you're going to do any kind of partnerships with in your business, like we will with hotels or resorts, just make sure you're running Ruby on Rails stuff that can be easily integrated with everybody else's stuff as well, because customers want a seamless experience. They want to book things. They don't want to have to go to 3 different sites to book their hotel, their car, and their flight. They want to be able to do it all in one place. So anyway, when you're building this stuff, make sure that you're thinking about making it, applicable to other people's and integratable in other people's stacks as well.
Yeah, great word of advice. I can't tell you how many times I've seen technology choices that then required rebuild. So very good words of advice. I know we're running up on time because you have a commitment and you got to get off. But one last question. What keeps you up at night?
Like just making sure, the biggest thing as a founder CEO is like, you got to make, the money's always going to be never enough. So you got to just make sure you're spending in the right places. And that's tough. Like I said, there's tons of stuff I want in technology, marketing, more and more marketing. I would love to, have a Super Bowl commercial, right? But, so just being very disciplined and very stingy almost with the limited capital to make sure you're getting a return on that. Because I second guess myself a lot, and have my mentors make sure they second guess me. That's why they're there, to make sure we're spending the money where we can get the most bang for our buck.
Well, Brandon, it's been a pleasure talking with you. We're definitely going to keep tabs, and I'm going to check this out. Maybe it'll be the first time I go skiing in a long time again.
Great. We'd love to make it happen.
Cool. And Carlos, back to you.
Well, the only thing left for me to do, Brandon, before I let you go, is simply send you a big thank you for having been with us today. And thank you, Tulio, and thank you, Carmen, as well, our social media and tweeting person right there, and teammate in Hermosillo. So thank you all, Brandon. We're going to be in touch. I'll send you the link to the updated landing page. And hope you have a great day and have a great meeting. Okay?
Yeah, thanks everybody. I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Likewise, Brandon.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Yep. Good luck
Have
in
a
your
great day.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye.